Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing fine. Welcome back to Verified Soul and to today's video. Well, let's talk about the mistakes that people do in the DV process and how to correct them and what is the importance of correcting them as required. I know for the DV Lottery 2025, people have filled their DS260 forms and they have submitted. Still others have not yet filled their DS260 forms. But whether or not you have submitted your DS260 form, it is important that you ensure the information therein is accurate and truthful, that it should be matching with all the supporting documents that you do have. And all across the internet, there are information, multiple of them, talking about error correction in the diversity visa program. But today I want us to really talk about it, to demystify all the issues around correcting the errors. Let me begin by telling you guys that it is most important that your DS260 form be accurate. This will ensure a smooth interview and, in the end, visa approval. But if you have errors that can lead to visa denial on your DS260 form, then you need to correct them as early as possible to ensure that you have a successful interview. There are three ways or three times in which you can do these changes. You can update your DS260 form. And the first is while filling the DS260 form. While filling the DS260 form, you can correct the previous mistakes that you did. By this I mean, during the application, there might be mistakes that you had done, and while filling the DS260 form, you need to fill the correct information. You need to correct or to rectify the errors that you had made in the initial application. And I have received many concerns regarding errors in the names. Some filled names that were not on their documents. Others, they added an extra name because one of the documents has that extra name. Others, they misspelled their names. And all these are errors that need to be corrected while filling the DS260 form. So if in the initial application, your names had errors, whichever type of the error, you need to correct that while filling the DS260 form. I mean, you fill the correct name or names that you have on the DS260 form. And remember, on the DS260 form, as we saw in an earlier video regarding the personal information, we have that block where you fill your name or your names, and below it, we have a block where you fill all other names that you have ever used during your life that might affect this process. So whichever name that you once used, you need to list it in there. And this is to provide for room for all the names that you might have used that might be on some other documents that are not captured on other documents. So that is about that. Correct all the mistakes that you did in the application on the DS260 form while filling it. That is the first time you can correct the errors. And the second time when you can correct your errors is after you've submitted the DS260 form, and then you come to realize there are some omission or addition of information that were not supposed to be there. If you realize there were some errors or you mistyped some information, if you realized that you did that, you also have room for correction. You just need to email KCC and request them to unlock the specific DS260 form. For example, if you are a family and you have derivatives, that means each one of them has the DS260 form. So you specify to KCC whose DS260 form you need to do the amendment. If it is the principal, you specify the principal. If it is one of the derivatives, you specify that exact or that particular derivative and do the adjustments. So you can request an unlock of your DS260 form for you to do the updates. You change the information as correctly as it should be. That is the second time you unlock and update. And you can do this only when your case has not become current. And that is to mean when your case is still above the cutoff number. If the cutoff number in the visa bulletin has not captured your case number, that means your case number is not yet current, and therefore you can request unlock and update. But if your case is already current, and I know majority of the DV Lottery 2024, their cases are current. If your case is current, that means KCC has no hand on your DS260 form. They cannot unlock or access your DS260 form to unlock it for you. So if you become current, there is one extra option for you to do the changes. You can do the updates during your interview. That is one way. Or you can email the embassy. So your specific embassy, you can email them and request them that you need to do some changes. The embassy is the one having the authority to do that, and they can open it for you to do the update. But if that route is not possible, then you can do it during your interview. On the very first desk or counter where you submit your documents, that is the place where you can request to do the changes. During your interview, you can as well do the changes. But still, with regards to the error correction, we have a theory that is going around that if you request KCC to unlock your DS260 form for you to do the changes or the updates, that your case will be delayed. That is not correct. It is not true. You cannot get a delay because you have updated your information. The only time that there would be a delay is if you provided extra information that caused KCC to do a thorough background check on you. Like, for example, if the information that you added is related to security issues. For example, you traveled to an area that is prone to frequent terrorism, then they will need to do some very thorough background check on what mission you had to do with that. So only when you provide very sensitive information that needs further examination, deeper scrutiny that might take some time, that is the only time. But how many do that? How many do that? It is not that many. And that's why I tell you, unlocking the DS260 form to update it with the relevant information does not cause any delay at all. It does not. So you should not get worried. Another thing in connection with this is with regards to the types of errors that you are supposed to correct. You know for sure, or if you do not know, there are errors that you cannot correct. They are not correctable. You cannot correct them. And one of these is if you selected the wrong country of birth, the country of eligibility. If that is what you did, then that one cannot be corrected. And if you are selected with that mistake, I would tell you outrightly, don't proceed with your DV process. Another one is if you omitted one of your derivatives. If you omitted one of your derivatives, don't even proceed because you'll not get your visa approved. That mistake cannot be corrected. Those are some of the mistakes that cannot be corrected. So now you know that you are supposed to rectify your errors for you to have a successful interview. If you have any more question, please feel free to ask it on the comment section and I'll be glad to answer. Please don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share the video. Let's meet in the next one.